Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Galen. This is Canadian Whiteboard Finance, where I take complex financial concepts and make them simple for Canadians because I love helping people understand their options when it comes to money and investing and financial planning. Now, this video is for you if you are in the market to find an advisor to help you with your specific situation. So what I've done is over the last many years, this is something I've thought about for a very long time, and even before I became an advisor, I was interviewing advisors to help me make difficult money decisions around me and my family. And really, I remember even from the very beginning sitting across the table from someone and thinking, how do I know if I can trust this person? How do I know if they're giving me good advice? So disclaimer here, this is my own opinion. This is what I have told my family in the States. I'm only licensed in Canada. I'm not licensed in the States. So when family and friends down there ask me, hey Galen, what should I be looking for when it comes to an advisor, or friends in other countries actually, this is what I tell them. And so certainly if you have your own criteria, take what I'm looking at, take what I'm talking about, add it to yours, work with it. But really, this is what I've told my family. Like, you know what, this is what I would be looking for if I had to go out there and find an advisor. So let's hop on over to the whiteboard. So as I mentioned, like, this is me a couple years ago, a number of years ago, before I became an advisor, trying to find my own advisor. And I really feel like it's one of those professions where it's like, I really need to find someone that I can really, really trust, like plumber, mechanic, lawyer, accountant, like doctor, dentist, like all these people, I mean, I feel like it's right up there with all that. It's the person who I'm going to be talking to about my money, the person who's going to give it back in the day before I knew all the stuff I know now, the person who's really going to be guiding me through these. And I've definitely thought about it a lot over the years, and this is the advice that I've given to the people in my life for when they've had to go out and find someone because they couldn't work with me because they were not in Canada. So really it boils down to, I think, two things to begin with, which is the person trustworthy, and is the person competent? So I'm going to graph this out a bit here. So competent, obviously this is where you want to be. Up here, the person high on the trustworthy factor, high on the competent factor. Don't want to be down here where the person, maybe they know their stuff technically, but not always giving the best advice. And don't want to be down here where someone neither knows their stuff, low on the competent scale, and isn't going to give good advice. And then nor over here where someone, yeah, they're super trustworthy, but they're simply not competent at what they do. Now, this is where you want to be, this golden box up here. Now, it's really, it's tough. It's tough because financial planning is not like this cookie cutter thing. It's very individual. A lot of people have different opinions on how it should go. So it's really fascinating, but this is what I start with my family. A, does this person listen to me? Are they a good listener? When they ask me a question, do they take time to listen to what I have to say? Do I feel like I'm being understood? If I'm afraid of something, are they acknowledging the fact that, yes, I'm afraid about this, and should I be or shouldn't I be? Are they, it's a pretty good thing I think most people can tell is whether they're being listened to or not. And the next one is, am I being educated? A big complaint I hear is about people feeling like they are confused about their finances and want to understand their finances. Am I being educated? Do I understand my finances better than I did before? Next, does this person ask tough questions? And this is an interesting one, tough questions. I have to ask people a lot of tough questions when it comes to financial planning. Questions that I certainly at the beginning of my career was not having a lot of fun asking, but I have to ask people things like, if something had happened to you yesterday, what would your financial situation for your family look like? Things like that. And I would say that the red flag on that side of things is if someone is just an order taker. Like if I went to a financial planner and I said, hey, I really want this investment. My friend said it's a really great one. Can you go get it for me? If they just jumped up and got it for me, that would actually be a really bad sign because they need to figure out whether that's right or not. That would be similar to me going to my doctor and saying, hey, I want this medicine. My friend took it and it worked really well. And the doctor hopping up and going and getting it for me, not knowing whether I'm allergic to it or not. So definitely that's like the red flag side of that thing. The next thing, someone who is looking at the big picture. Someone who is not just focused on product, definitely that's a big red flag for me. Someone who's like, oh, I really love this investment, or I really love this type of account. It's really more of a big picture thing of, here's me, here's my goal, my future goal, whether it be, saving for a house or retiring or estate planning. Are you keeping that in mind? Am I moving closer to that goal every year? Next is, can I talk to an existing client? If you have an existing client who looks like me, who's kind of in a similar situation as me, that's been working with you for a while, that I could just talk to and ask them what it's been like working with you. And this next one is very unscientific, but very important, is your gut. Is your gut telling you that you should work with this person or not? There's a lot to be said for that. Certainly trust your instincts when it comes to this sort of a thing. And what I'll say very quickly is this is one piece of the puzzle. And if you are interested in knowing the process that I take my clients through, be sure to go to the link in the description below, gnuttall.com/guide. It's a 30-minute guide to Canadian financial planning, and it takes you through the same steps that I take my clients through when they meet with me. So certainly finding a good advisor is part of it, and this, you can definitely take a look at the process I take my clients through so you can have an idea of what that might look like. So next, when it comes to tips on picking an advisor, is are they focused on the right thing? And I'm going to explain that in a second. This is really big in the area of investing. There was a study a while back that said, it was called Surprising Insights into Retirement, and they basically looked at a group of people who had retired the way they wanted to, like people who retired with enough money to live the life they wanted to, and people who didn't, and they had worked very similar jobs, made similar amounts of money, and so there's a lot of controls in this experiment, which my analytical brain likes. And they said, what were the biggest factors between the people who made it and the people who didn't? And they broke it down into 4 factors, and really at the end of the day, it's very interesting. So the biggest factor was simply how much money those people put away in savings. So their savings rate. That was the number one thing that mattered. So how much money were they putting away in the first place? And this might be counter to a lot of what's out there that makes people think that they need to be chasing the exact investment that's going to get them where they need to go, when savings was the top number one thing. The second thing was creating a portfolio that worked in the first place. So using a portfolio of investments that was suited to their style. The next thing was something called rebalancing, which I'm not going to get into, but it was basically regular monitoring of the portfolio. And then 4%, a very small factor, came down to market timing, like having bought and sold at the right point in time. So this is the number one thing. If I were looking for an investment advisor, it would be, are they focused on the things that actually work to get me where I want to go? Are they focused on encouraging me to put away the right amount of money in the first place? Are they taking the time to put me in a portfolio that makes sense for me? And are they looking on a yearly basis as to whether this portfolio is still matching with my plan? This 4% around picking the right investment at the right time, a lot of studies, a lot of research, top investors, Warren Buffett, and they will say that it is not possible to time the market consistently, and it's not even what they focus on. So if I'm hearing an advisor talk about this is the next big thing, or I really want to move you from X investment to Y investment because I think something big is about to happen, that is a big red flag on the investment side, because they're claiming to do something that they cannot do consistently. Maybe once in a while someone can do it, but not consistently enough to move the needle. I hope that was helpful to give some insights into the advice that I give the people that I know who don't live in Canada, that I can't work with, unfortunately, what I tell them to look for in an advisor. Let me know in the comments below what you look for or any questions you might have about anything I said. As always, feel free to subscribe. I think the button's around here somewhere. If you're haven't already, that way you can find out as soon as I publish a new video. And then a video, trying to point to where it should go, a video that is very much in line with this one is how advisors get paid, very much in line with the video, the concept of how to pick an advisor. So perfect. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one.